pop. She was the extra color, the extra element, the X factor, the extra sauce. If I may say so to myself. But she's also the greatest case study of how talent is meaningless without great leadership and also great followership. All right, it is the greatest thing that can help a talented person. How well you follow, how well you learn, and humbling yourself. How good are you at self-correction and humbling yourself? And the Jaguar Wright story is a lifetime of no self-correction, no leadership, and I'm saying, and bad followership skills. All right, someone who's a victim to their own ego. So I want to, and I'm like, damn, I want to play a little bit of my first reintroduction to Jaguar Wright, and we're gonna do a little bit of reacting to her interview on the Storm Monroe channel. Okay, so let's go over the Rolex Productions real quick. Just give me a moment.
I'm not like this.
Fair use.
Am I lying? Todd, will you tell him about the picture with me and my family picture? And I'm sitting there looking at the camera like, what you looking at? I've been that way my whole life. I was born like this. So yeah, I started playing piano at 5. I became a concert piano by the age of 10. And
let's see.
Yeah, I know.
Rest in peace, Gerald Levert. Love and consequences, my
and destruction, annihilation, desolation, catastrophe, all out, all over the place. See, it didn't
get into like her whole
yeah. So does crack.
Nigga, that's real as fuck.
If you know about that man's demise, it's because you live in the same one. You just hoping that people look at him and don't look at you. And come up with their own story.
That's a fact. So let's touch on what can we touch?
I mean, you could touch on whatever you want to touch on, and I'll tell you what I can answer and what I can't.
Okay. So,
but I promise you,
right.
You will get detail.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So let's start off like this. So from you being an MC to you getting into the Roots, how was that transition? How did you get into?
I didn't want to be a part of the Roots.
So why did you become a part?
I fell in love with Richard Nichols' mind. I wasn't allowed to go to art school. I had to turn down my scholarship to Juilliard. I was supposed to go to Syracuse, and then from there I was supposed to go to law school, Harvard, and become a corporate litigator. That's what my father wanted for me. I decided to become a drug dealer and a pimp, and I got thrown out of school in about 8 months. I had to, I did shit. I was from North Philly, and it was easy money.
Right. So would you say that you were just a product of your environment, like the surroundings led you to do that?
I'm a product of everything.
Yeah.
I grew up amongst wealthy people and poor.
Now, the reason why I'm playing this is because I want you guys to understand this right here is the highest level of how a woman can tell a story. Watch her body language. Watch all the accent she puts in to get you to believe what she's talking about. Look how comfortable she looking. So I'm from North Philly. I was a pimp and I was a drug dealer. Now, later on in this series, when I do part 3 or part 5, because we're going to play a little bit of this. We're going to play a little bit of the Storm Monroe joint. Maybe I'll revisit it. But the reason why I'm doing this series is because this is a female archetype that you won't going to experience in the hood. Because again, when we're in the hood, a lot of us are if you live in the hood, especially if you live in the hood and you're struggling, or you live with several people while living in the hood, usually means that your finances are not where they're not in a premium or in a space where you can I say, basically you're not able to live comfortable. So if you're not able to live in the hood and live comfortable and be able to afford what you want to afford, right, then that usually means that there's some bad decision making somewhere. And also, it's just my theory that a lot of us are not meant to rock on our own and be by ourselves. Everyone's not meant to be by themselves and on their own and just be completely autonomous. A lot of us need help. A lot of us just do better with a whole community, and we need to live with someone, and so that's okay. All right, but this archetype right here, right, is the archetype is the person who their job is to live off of other people. And they are constantly convincing other people that they're a victim of some kind, or you owe them something of some, whether it's time and effort or just resources in general. But this is a person who is not able to garner or ascertain any of their own resources. And they need, you know what I'm saying, to constantly be convincing people of wherever their truth is, right? In order to get what they want. Now, Jaguar Wright's case, this is an extreme case, but a lot of people do it with, let's say in my own personal life, what I've experienced is dealing with someone who will, for the most part, knows it's in their best interest to make me think I owe them something, to make me think that what's going on between us is so bad that the relationship, it just ain't hitting on 2 cents, to the point where I need to perform at a high level, all while this person does absolutely no work. This is the kind of person who puts most of their time and energy into manipulation. She's very much adjacent to your crackhead relative. I had a relative, is actually only a few years older than me. I can't tell you where this problem started, but very much she has a lot of the same characteristics as Jab. Very good storytelling, can be fun, can be very funny and fun to be around. They almost always have a musical talent. They can rap, they can sing, or play an instrument, or maybe all of them, or can dance real good, but always have some kind of creative or musical talent. Years and years ago, around 2014ish and everything, and now mind you, up until this time, so she's lesbian, right? And she from the time she came up here, even when I was younger, she came to stay with us when I was young for like 6 months, and she had to go back down south because she was getting into it with everybody up here, and was just a problem. You know what I mean? She was a problem down at her mother's, and then she became a problem up here. And this is when she still was kind of dating guys a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But she wasn't ready to come out yet. So when she came back, she was a full-blown stud, which is cool. But from the beginning, I noticed that she was lying. She was already cheating on her girlfriend and already just lying. I remember one time, it was a time where she told me basically that, oh yeah, she was trying to sell me a phone. And she said, yeah. So you gotta get it unlocked, and you're gonna have to have someone basically gonna have to have a reprogram for yourself and whatnot. She said, yeah, because so my friend got me the phone and everything. So she thought it'd be funny, you know what I'm saying, to give me the phone, but give me the SIM card in a different bag. And then she lost it. So she'll have the SIM card for the phone. And I remember at the time of it thinking like, that phone don't look new. And I'm like, I'm like 19, 20. I'm like, this story ain't adding up. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until like years later that I was talking to my mother, and my mother was like, you know your cousin be lying, right? You know what I mean? And just said it as if like it's just something that you should just accept. It wasn't like she didn't really say it like, listen, she a liar. And you can't be getting caught up in people's lives. And that should have been a whole conversation about not letting people manipulate you. But my mother just said, you know your cousin be lying. So anyway, years later, right? And around this time, she was always in a situation where she needed my grandmother to give her some money. And it was always some new story. And around 2014, 2015-ish, my cousin calls and says, there's so actually for money every month and whatnot. And my grandmother goes, yeah, right? And then the rest of the relatives started talking, and everyone said, yeah, she always calls about every month or two, and always has some reason why she needs $20 to $100 or whatever it was, right? And I remember my grandmother would get a little annoyed because every time she would come to visit, she was coming, it would cost her something. And she would say, oh, how you doing? Hey, Auntie, do you need me to go to the store for you? You need me to do this, you need me to do that. And then my cousin's mind, that was her way. Instead of asking, in her mind, that was her way of, all right, this is a fair exchange. I'll go to the store for you, you give me $20, give me $30, whatever it is, right? And after a while, my grandmother started saying, I don't need you to do anything for me. Now, mind you, my grandmother's retired with a fixed income. It's not like she's swimming in dough, right? But anywho, the change, the point where things changed was, it's had to be after 2015. The point where things changed was when my other cousin let her come stay with him, and he couldn't find out she had stolen his fiance's tennis bracelet and had sold it and everything. And that's when I think he had to put her out. And that's when we all found out that my cousin was living off of the family and was basically, because she never really had a job. Never really had a job. You know what I mean? And we know, and again, but in the hood, a lot of us will have a relative like this, right? Or know someone like this. And so it's not, we know it's not good, right? But at the same time, like, you don't necessarily catch on to how bad it really is and what they are doing instead of working on a job, what they actually spend time doing. And you see this character in the hood a lot. The kind of person that when you really start paying attention to people and they're just what they don't say, you can see when someone's being really genuine and they're really interested versus someone using the signals of interest, the signals of friendliness, and you can kind of see that it's more of a pretend thing, and it's almost like them holding up two 20-pound weights. 20-pound weight is not really that heavy for a guy, right? But 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. So for a person like this, it's like no. We'll say 10-pound weight, holding 2 10-pound weights. For women, we'll say 5. It's like holding them up like this. So a person that's really a narc or a person who is self-centered, being nice is like holding these weights up. Now, again, when I first hold them up, it's cool. They cool, right? But as soon as 10 minutes go by, oh, God damn, my arms get a little tired. You know what I mean? Then slowly them arms won't start coming down. Then slowly you're going to have to say, all right, gotta let it go. Oh, my God, I hate you. I never liked anything you did. We was never good. I never wanted to be in your band. So what if I smiled during? I didn't mean any of that. You know what I mean? So it becomes that. So as you get, so when you start to actually pay attention to when people are being genuine, you can kind of see, you're not really a nice person. Or because again, because you can tell by the rhythm of someone's voice, the things they choose to ask you, how much time they allow you to talk about certain things, and what their responses are to the things you talk about. Right? So anywho, so I wanted to point that out. So anyway, long story short, everyone found out that my cousin was basically scamming everybody, and she kind of got like disowned and so on and so forth. So that's what happened with that. And eventually she got kind of back cool.